My wife died in a car crash, or that's what we thought. Until my young Caucasian daughter handed me a video Sophie recorded. A video accusing her own mother.
After losing my wife Sophie, grief was a heavy fog in our home. I tried to stay strong for our daughter Lily, but it felt impossible. The phone calls from my mother-in-law, Bertha, didn't help. Every conversation was a twisted accusation, blaming me for Sophie's death. The tension was already suffocating, and then came the funeral planning. Bertha stormed into our house, demanding control over every detail, judging every decision I made. She pulled Lily aside, trying to coax secrets out of her. I'd long suspected Bertha had manipulated Sophie, but seeing Lily's fear, I knew something was terribly wrong. Lily finally confessed, her voice trembling, that Bertha had made her delete a video from her mom's phone. My heart sank. I immediately checked Sophie's cloud backup, my hands shaking, and there it was. The erased recording. I hit play and heard Sophie's voice, weak but clear. She suspected her mother was tampering with her medication. The video ended abruptly as Bertha walked in, her voice sharp and furious. The pieces clicked into place, a horrifying puzzle. My fear turned to chilling certainty. Bertha had slowly poisoned her own daughter. I knew I needed irrefutable proof. I started documenting everything: Sophie's medication records, her symptom patterns, Bertha's strange purchases. I didn't tell Lily the gruesome details, but I promised her I would make sure the truth came out no matter what. For Lily's safety, I took her to stay with Sophie's sister, Carrie. I laid out everything I had found, warning her about Bertha's calculated cruelty. Carrie's face went pale. She admitted she'd seen signs for years, but had never understood the full extent of her mother's control. Together, we prepared for the funeral. We knew Bertha would use it as a stage, a public performance to frame me. We gathered witnesses, organized the evidence, and made sure the police would be there, discreetly waiting for Bertha to make her move. The day of the funeral arrived. Bertha carried herself like a grieving queen, ready for her dramatic performance. During her eulogy, she paused, tears welling in her eyes, and then pointed a trembling finger at me. She accused me of manipulating and poisoning Sophie. Gasps filled the chapel. I remained calm, letting her rant, watching as she walked right into the trap we'd set. When she demanded Sophie's phone as evidence, my lawyer stepped forward, informing everyone it had already been secured and backed up. Bertha's confidence wavered for a second, but she tried to bluff. That's when Lily entered the chapel. She walked past the pews, straight to the detective standing near the back, holding her mother's phone. She said, "My grandmother told me to delete a scary video of my mom." The air in the room froze. The detective reviewed the recording privately, his expression hardening. When he confronted Bertha, she panicked, trying to twist the narrative, but it was too late. Carrie and I presented months of evidence, medical details, Sophie's own words, the digital trail. Bertha lost all control. She started screaming that Sophie belonged to her, that she had the right to take her back. Her grandmotherly mask shattered, revealing the monster beneath. She confessed right there, claiming it was an act of love and protection. The police moved in and arrested her as she screamed threats, insisting we didn't know the whole truth. I just held Lily, feeling a profound sense of relief that Sophie's voice had finally been heard. At the police station, the story got even darker. Detectives revealed that Bertha's pattern of behavior was eerily familiar. They suspected she was involved in the death of Carrie's husband years ago, and even the death of her own spouse. Suddenly, old, cold cases were being reopened. We discovered Bertha's journals, filled with obsessive fantasies of control, detailed lies, and a chilling plan to take custody of Lily. It was a private world where she was the sole decider of who lived and who died. Investigators also found her activity in disturbing online forums, where harmful behaviors were disguised as devoted motherhood. They began tracing potential accomplices, and I helped them identify the patterns of abuse. The public's reaction was complicated. Some people blamed me for not reporting my suspicions sooner, but I had to explain that confronting a master manipulator without concrete proof is a death sentence. The next battle was the competency hearing. Bertha was going to claim mental illness to escape accountability. I testified, not just as a grieving husband, but using my background in psychology to explain her calculated, deliberate actions. The court reviewed her journals, her forum posts, and Sophie's terrified messages. Carrie took the stand, her voice shaking but firm, recounting a childhood suffocated by Bertha's control. Finally, Bertha herself testified, confident she could fool everyone one last time. She played the part of a confused, helpless old woman. But under cross-examination, the pressure mounted, and her mask. She launched into a furious rant about owning her daughters, about punishing Sophie for daring to be independent, about her belief that I had stolen her child. She confessed again, this time with rage, shouting that she had the right to take Sophie's life. The courtroom watched in horror. The judge ruled she was fully competent and found her guilty. Multiple life sentences, no possibility of parole. As they led her away, she glared at me, but I felt no fear. I just thought of Lily and Sophie. 6 months later, I stood with Lily at a ribbon-cutting ceremony. We opened the Sophie Galloway Foundation, an organization dedicated to protecting families from the kind of covert psychological and medical abuse we had endured. It would offer resources to victims and train professionals to spot the warning signs of manipulative caregivers. Lily stood beside me, a soft, proud smile on her face. I told her we were honoring her mother not with anger, but with action. Later, we visited Sophie's grave. I held Lily's hand and promised her we would live a life of love and freedom, never again ruled by fear or control. In that moment, I felt both the deep pain of our loss and a quiet peace. Sophie's story would save lives. Lily's courage had exposed a monster. I knew my purpose now was to protect my daughter and ensure the world understood the vast, dangerous difference between love and possession. Through our grief, we found our strength, building a future where Sophie's light could continue to shine and where the truth could no longer be buried. Thank you for listening. If you know someone who might be in a similar situation, please encourage them to seek help. Your support could make all the difference.